Hello everyone, welcome to Learning Academy Foundation from Mr. Andrea. Today I would like to show you about the Physic program for grades 11 and 12. The first section will be about kinematics, where the students will study about scalars and vectors, displacement, visual models of motion, so with motion diagrams, position versus time, and the velocity versus time, the acceleration versus time graphs, mathematical models of motion, so the kinematic equations and the free fall, and motion in 2 dimensions, so with vectors in 2 dimensions and 2-dimension projectile motion. The next section will be about force and translational dynamics, where the students will learn about forces and systems, so systems and Newton's third law, forces and acceleration with Newton's first and second laws and inclines, gravitational force with Newton's law of gravitation, the concept of gravitational field and the inertial and gravitational mass, friction force, spring force, and Hooke's law, and finally circular motion and the circular orbits. The next section will be about work, energy, and power, where the students will learn about translational kinetic energy and work, potential energy and conservative forces, conservation of energy with conservation of energy examples, and energy dissipated by friction and LOL diagrams, and finally power. Next section will be about linear momentum, where the students will learn about linear momentum and impulse. So momentum, impulse, and impulse and momentum example, forces versus time graphs, conservation of linear momentum with calculations and bouncing fluid collision example, elastic and inelastic collisions, and systems of center of mass. The next section will be about torque and rotational dynamics, where the students will learn about rotational kinematics, torque with force diagrams and rolling, and Newton's second law in rotational form, with the rotational version of Newton's second law and rotational inertia. The next section will be about energy and momentum of rotating system, where the students will learn about rotational kinetic energy and rolling without slipping, angular momentum of an extended object, and conservation of angular momentum and constant angular momentum with no net torque and conservation of angular momentum examples. The next section will be about oscillations, where students will learn about simple harmonic oscillators, with the intuition, definition of amplitude and period, and equation. Period of simple harmonic oscillators of a mass on a spring or end of a pendulum. Energy of simple harmonic oscillators, so graphs for simple harmonic motion. Next section will be about fluids, where the students will learn about density and pressure, buoyant force, and the fluid flow with the continuity equation and the Bernoulli's equation. That's all about physics for grades 11 and 12. You can find my contacts below in the slides or in description. Thank you so much for your attention, students and parents. See you next. Bye.